From the humble beginnings of a small city-state on the Italian peninsula, Rome rose to become a vast empire, encompassing the entire Mediterranean world and beyond. Its journey, spanning centuries, was paved with both innovation and warfare. For much of Roman history, the constant thread of conflict shaped not only the borders of the empire but also the lives of its citizens. Military service wasn't just an option. It was a civic duty expected of all able-bodied men. Imagine a young man like Marius, reaching the age of 17, knowing that at any moment, the call to arms could come, propelling him into the heart of a massive war machine that had been honed over centuries of conquest.
For over a millennium, the Roman world pulsated with the rhythm of war. From its earliest days, as a collection of villages on the banks of the Tiber River, the city of Rome was embroiled in conflict. During the regal period, 753 to 509 BCE, legendary figures like Romulus and Remus clashed with neighboring tribes, laying the foundation for a culture that revered military prowess. The rise of the Roman Republic, 509 to 27 BCE, saw this martial spirit further cultivated. Citizen soldiers, organized into legions, embarked on a relentless campaign of conquest, expanding Roman territory across the Italian peninsula and beyond. Victories against formidable foes like the Carthaginians in the Punic Wars, 264 to 146 BCE, cemented Rome's reputation as a dominant military power. By the time many of young men like Marius reached the cusp of adulthood, the same as Roman Republic was on the precipice of a dramatic transformation. A series of civil wars, fueled by political and social unrest, shattered the Republic's fragile balance of power. Ultimately, these conflicts paved the way for the rise of the Roman Empire during 27 BCE, 476 CE. Under emperors like Augustus and Trajan, the Roman military machine reached its peak, conquering vast swathes of territory and establishing a Pax Romana, a Roman peace that brought relative stability to the known world. However, the seeds of decline were also sown during this era. The vastness of the empire strained its resources, and the constant need for soldiers placed a heavy burden on Roman citizens. Despite these challenges, the Roman military remained a formidable force for centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of warfare and shaping the lives of countless individuals like Marius, who were called upon to uphold the legacy of Rome's martial might.
At its zenith, under the rule of emperors like Trajan, 98 to 117 CE, the Roman Empire stretched from the scorching sands of North Africa to the frigid wines of Britain, encompassing the entire Mediterranean world and beyond. This vast territory, a testament to the relentless Roman war machine, was a source of both immense power and constant strain. By the 5th century CE, the cracks in the Roman facade had become chasms. Barbarian tribes who had long pressed against the empire's borders sensed weakness and began to exploit it. In the west, Germanic groups like the Visigoths, Franks, and Vandals carved out independent kingdoms from Roman territory. The Huns, a fearsome nomadic people from Central Asia, swept through Europe, further destabilizing the empire. However, the story of Rome wasn't entirely over. In the East, the Roman Empire, often referred to as the Byzantine Empire after the fall of the West, persevered for another 1,000 years, while Byzantium retained elements of Roman culture and law. It also developed its own distinct identity, with a flourishing Greek Orthodox Christian culture centered in its capital, Constantinople, formerly Byzantium.
The fall of the Western Roman Empire created a power vacuum that ambitious new groups rushed to fill. In the 5th century CE, the Visigoths established themselves in Hispania. The Vandals carved out a North African kingdom, and the Franks laid the foundation for what would become France. The 6th century saw the Anglo-Saxons invade Britain, and the 7th to 8th centuries witnessed the Lombards settling in northern Italy. These kingdoms, while distinct from Roman culture, ultimately laid the groundwork for the development of medieval Europe. Meanwhile, the East persevered as the Byzantine Empire. Though facing challenges from the Persians and the rise of Islam, the Byzantines' adaptability allowed them to maintain a significant empire for centuries. However, their reign ended definitively in 1453 CE, with the fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Turks. Despite its demise, the Byzantine legacy, along with that of the Western Roman Empire, continued to influence the course of history, shaping law, government, art, and architecture for centuries to come.
Actus ordo viti, Cacinus communicatus ilia et nota opera invinia, adventu cettatio discussit. Bellum and longingquam ordem erit, et per omnes urbis angulos ad armoris onavit. Ego quoquad adolescentes multo servum vocatus Relinquens ilia et saladium amplexus vinia peritia expulsio fuit, sed sensus officium defendendi imperium, haud dubium fuit.
Leaving families behind was a common occurrence. While some men felt a sense of patriotism or a desire for adventure, others faced the difficult reality of being pulled away from their farms, businesses, and loved ones. Yet, there were incentives. Soldiers received a regular salary in denarii, Roman coins. This income could be particularly appealing for men from lower social classes. Additionally, the promise of plunder and spoils of war might have enticed some to join the ranks. Unlike some ancient societies, Rome didn't typically rely on professional soldiers of fortune. Their strength came from citizen soldiers, men who swore loyalty to Rome and their fellow soldiers. However, there were some exceptions. Foreign auxiliaries, skilled archers, or cavalrymen from conquered territories sometimes fought alongside Roman legions. As the empire grew vast, some non-citizens might have found ways to join the legions as well. The Roman army itself would evolve over time. While the system of citizen soldiers served Rome well for centuries, the vastness of the empire eventually necessitated change. After reforms by Marius in the 1st century BC, the legions transitioned from a citizen-based system to a more professional, volunteer force. This change ensured a standing army readily available to manage the empire's far-flung frontiers. Upon enlistment, new recruits like Marcus entered a rigorous training program. Legionaries, the backbone of the Roman army, were trained in formations, weapons handling, and physical conditioning. This training could last for months, transforming civilians into disciplined soldiers.
Horror mea spinam decurrit rumore lato. Bellum. Pater ipse veteranus torva superbia muneris locutus est, sed oculi praemetu torva tremente sagnovi nimium. Cito venit mox frigidum, officiale documentum ad me destinatum. Sceba migitur quod argumentatio non adiuvaret.
Imagine yourself in the bustling heart of a Roman city. Young men like Marcus, upon reaching the age of 17, faced a life-altering prospect: the call to serve. It wasn't a question of if, but when. The Roman army, the engine of their vast empire, relied on a strict hierarchy to maintain order and discipline. The basic unit was the century, a band of 80 to 100 soldiers hardened by rigorous training. Leading them was a fierce veteran, the centurion. His commands were your law, his experience your lifeline. Several centuries formed a cohort, commanded by a young ambitious tribune. These officers, often from aristocratic families, were honing their leadership skills for a future in politics.
Romanus exercitus non modo sensarum et clipeorum colligi. Vivus, spirans, quae ambitione, arte, communi proposito. Nam qui ducem cupiebant, iter ad gloriam expectabant.
For those of noble birth, military service offered a stepping stone to a political career. Young aristocrats served as tribunes, gaining valuable experience on the battlefield. Ultimately, the most prestigious positions, like legate, were reserved for high-ranking senators or seasoned veterans appointed by the Senate itself. But the Roman army wasn't just about legionaries. There were opportunities for those with specialized skills. Archers from Crete, renowned for their accuracy, or slingers from the Balearic Islands, famed for their lethal aim, could be recruited as auxiliary units. But muscle wasn't the only thing on horseback. Rome also relied heavily on cavalrymen, known as equites. These mounted warriors zipped around the battlefield, flanking enemies and scouting ahead. Unlike legionaries, equites often hailed from noble families within Rome itself, or wealthy folks in conquered lands. Numidia, a region in North Africa, was particularly famous for its light cavalry. Masters of horsemanship who rained down javelins from horseback. Gauls, from parts of modern-day France and Germany, also provided formidable heavy cavalry, charging in with long swords and lances. By incorporating these diverse specialists, Rome built a truly versatile war machine. Legionaries provided the foundation, while archers, slingers, and cavalry each brought a special skill set to the table. This blend of strengths allowed Rome to dominate the ancient world for centuries. The Roman legions were legendary fighters. But conquering empires takes more than just brute force. Behind the scenes, a vast network of specialists kept the army healthy, fed, and ready to fight. Healing the ranks. The medical corps. These weren't your average doctors. The Roman medical corps had a hierarchy. Valetudinarii, often slaves or freedmen, handled basic care. A step up were the Medici, with more experience to set bones and treat wounds. At the top were the chirurgeons, the elite surgeons who performed complex battlefield operations. These skilled individuals used bronze tools, remarkably similar to modern instruments, even resorting to cauterization to stop bleeding. Imagine surgery without anesthesia. Roman doctors used what they had: alcohol or opium for pain relief, and relied on stitching wounds with animal intestines or plant fibers. The success rate depended heavily on the injury and the soldier's resilience. Feeding a giant like the Roman army wasn't a simple task. Legionary cooks, everyday specialists, prepared meals for their units. Think stews, porridge, and gruel made with barley, lentils, and vegetables. Meat was a rare treat. Camp bakers kept the bread ovens going, another essential of the Roman diet. And the frumentarii, a special military unit, acted as the Uber Eats of the ancient world, ensuring grain deliveries from far and wide. Building a temporary home. Camp construction. An army on the move needs a place to rest its weary head. Military engineers, the brainy bunch, built fortifications, bridges, and anything else the army needed to move and defend itself. Soldiers nearing retirement or unfit for combat duty became like handymen, digging trenches, erecting tents, and generally making camp life a little more comfortable. From doctors to cooks to engineers, this unsung network of specialists was the invisible army that kept the Roman war machine running smoothly. They were the reason the legions could conquer vast swathes of territory. A testament to the power of organization and a well-fed soldier.
The Roman army, a well-oiled machine fueled by citizen duty, professional ambition, and specialized skills, conquered vast territories. But beyond the physical, soldiers craved ways to keep their minds occupied. How was this entertainment provided? Entertainment. During downtime, soldiers themselves might be talented entertainers, performing music or storytelling for their comrades. However, some commanders, especially during long sieges or inactive periods, likely hired professional performers to boost morale. These entertainers would sing, play instruments, or even stage comedic acts, providing a welcome escape from the harsh realities of war. Athletics and games, athletic contests, and chariot races. If space allowed within the camp, were likely organized in-house. These activities not only provided entertainment but also fostered camaraderie and a competitive spirit that could translate to battlefield performance. Now, let's address a sensitive topic: the presence of companions within the camps. Prostitution existed on the fringes of army camps, a dark secret tolerated to some degree but officially prohibited. Captured women or boys might be forced into this role, creating tension and moral dilemmas. High-ranking commanders might have turned a blind eye or even unofficially sanctioned such activities. But the practice was never officially endorsed. Supreme leaders and commanders, however, enjoyed certain privileges. Personal attendants. These high-ranking individuals often had a retinue of personal attendants, including slaves or freedmen who might fulfill various roles. While some historical accounts hint at intimate relationships between these attendants and their commanders, the exact nature and prevalence of such relationships remain unclear. It's safe to say such arrangements wouldn't have been openly acknowledged and likely fell outside the realm of sanctioned military practices.
Disciplinam. Legionem nobis servat. Sed homo non solum exit. Videsne pulvis iste nubes. Sectator comitatus. Dicunt offerunt. Sed fugit, periculose, certus. Captum a tribuno, saltem verberat. Forsitan asperiores. Sed eus mais intermissum opus est. Memor esto, scutum est silentium tuum. Une iniuria movit, et nomen luto.
Victories weren't just battles won. They were the currency of prestige in the Roman world. Take Julius Caesar, for example. His relentless campaigns in Gaul, masterfully documented in his own commentaries, cemented his reputation as a brilliant general. Time and again, he emerged from the dust and carnage, leading his legions to triumph, becoming a legend whispered in every barracks and celebrated in every forum. But glory wasn't enough. These commanders were more than just conquering heroes. Think of Scipio Africanus, the bane of Hannibal. He was a strategist who could outwit his enemies, like his daring flanking maneuver at the Battle of Zama. Leaders who inspired unwavering loyalty and discipline within their ranks, like Marius, who reformed the Roman army, transforming it into a professional fighting force. And men known for a fairness and concern for their soldiers' well-being, like Trajan, who expanded the empire while prioritizing the welfare of his troops. A successful Roman commander was a complex figure, a blend of battlefield prowess and leadership that ensured the unwavering loyalty and fighting spirit of his troops. They were the glue that held the legions together, the men who turned raw recruits into the unstoppable force that carved a mighty empire from the map. Roman military success can be attributed to several factors. their innovative tactics, like the use of the pilum and the testudo formation, played a crucial role. Additionally, skilled generals like Scipio Africanus and Julius Caesar inspired loyalty and discipline within their troops. Unlike some barbarian hordes, the Romans weren't afraid to learn. They adopted the deadly pilum, a throwing spear, from the Samnites, and the gladius, a short sword, perfect for close combat, from the Celts. They devised innovative formations like the testudo, a shield wall impenetrable to missiles, and the triplex aces, a triple-line formation that allowed for flexibility on the battlefield. Fresh-faced recruits, their training complete, arrive with eagerness to prove themselves. But the true test, war itself, awaits them. Life on a campaign is a harsh reality, a far cry from the training grounds. Yet, honed through centuries of conquest, the Roman army stands as a formidable force. Marches are long and brutal, covering vast distances under the relentless sun or the bite of winter. Legionaries camp in tents or makeshift shelters, enduring harsh weather and limited supplies. Food rations are often meager, and the constant threat of enemy attack keeps them on edge. This is the reason why discipline and morale are crucial. Experienced centurions enforce order with an iron fist. Punishments for desertion or cowardice swift and severe. But leaders also understand the importance of keeping spirits high. Victories are celebrated with games and entertainment, and spoils of war serve as a reward for bravery. On the battlefield, the Romans unleash a combination of formations and maneuvers designed to overwhelm their enemies. The legion, typically 4,500 to 5,000 strong, is divided into smaller units called maniples. These maniples can be deployed in various formations, armed with the versatile pilum and gladius, weapons offering both offensive and defensive capabilities. One such formation is the testudo, or tortoise. Soldiers lock shields together overhead, creating a nearly impenetrable shell that protects them from a hail of arrows and javelins. This tactic allows them to close the distance with the enemy and unleash a devastating close-quarters attack. Another key formation is the triplex aces, or triple line. This layered approach allows for flexibility. As the front line engages the enemy, tired soldiers can be replaced by fresh troops from the rear, maintaining constant pressure. Skilled cavalry and skirmishers on the flanks provide support, harassing enemy formations and disrupting their tactics. The Roman legion, a well-oiled machine of discipline and strategy, a force to be reckoned with. These are the men who carved a mighty empire from the map, their legacy etched in the annals of history. However, Roman ingenuity wasn't limited to the battlefield. While chariots were no longer the dominant force, they once were in earlier eras. They still played a role, particularly against less disciplined enemies. The sight of a chariot corps charging into battle, the thundering hooves and skilled charioteers wielding spears or javelins, could sow terror and disruption in enemy ranks. Their effectiveness waned against well-drilled infantry formations. Roman engineers weren't slouches either. They built elaborate siege engines like catapults that hurled stones at enemy fortifications, and battering rams that smashed down gates. Their construction of a vast network of roads did more than just link cities. It ensured legions could move swiftly across vast distances, a logistical nightmare for their enemies.
The Roman Empire wasn't just built on legions of disciplined soldiers, it was forged in a crucible of innovation. Though lacking universities, the Romans possessed a remarkable ability to learn, adapt, and improve upon existing technologies. This ingenuity was evident in their approach to weaponry, from the iconic gladius sword to the powerful siege engines that crumbled enemy defenses. Skilled blacksmiths, honed through apprenticeships and experience, crafted Roman weapons in specialized workshops. Master smiths passed down their knowledge from generation to generation, ensuring a consistent level of quality and craftsmanship. This wasn't mere imitation. The Romans were keen observers. They adopted and improved upon designs encountered through trade and conquest, like adapting the slashing Celtic sword for thrusting attacks. This ability to adapt existing technologies to their specific needs gave the Roman army a significant advantage. Roman swords weren't just sharp, they held their edge through countless clashes. This was due to a process called carburizing. Blacksmiths would pack hot blades with charcoal, allowing the carbon to slowly penetrate the surface of the metal. This created a hardened, high-carbon steel edge perfect for delivering devastating blows, while the core remained flexible, preventing shattering. This process, though not fully understood in scientific terms, was a testament to their practical knowledge of metal behavior. The Roman catapult wasn't just a sling on a giant stick, it was a marvel of twisted ingenuity. Adapted from the Greeks, Roman engineers refined the design for power, accuracy, and battlefield practicality. Imagine a massive frame holding twisted skeins of rope or animal sinew. As these torsion springs were wound tight, they stored immense energy, unleashed with devastating force when the trigger was released. This energy propelled a hail of stones, flaming projectiles, or even javelins at enemy fortifications, raining terror from afar. Roman engineers didn't just copy, they experimented with different torsion mechanisms, each with its own advantages. Spooned and skein designs offered varying degrees of power and launch speed, allowing them to adapt their tactics to the situation. This adaptability, coupled with their engineering prowess, made the Roman catapult a truly formidable weapon. The battering ram, a seemingly simple weapon, was a testament to Roman engineering efficiency. Imagine a massive log, often reinforced with iron, suspended from a sturdy framework, but Roman ingenuity didn't stop there. This framework wasn't just a carrier, it was a mobile platform. Wheels allowed it to be maneuvered close to enemy walls, while a complex system of beams and braces ensured stability during the punishing blows. But the Romans understood the need for protection. They constructed a roof over the platform, often using animal hides or woven branches, creating a tortoise formation that shielded attackers from enemy fire. This combination of brute force and engineering finesse allowed the battering ram to relentlessly pound enemy defenses, creating breaches that paved the way for Roman victory. The ram wasn't just a blunt instrument. It was a carefully designed tool, a testament to Roman practicality and engineering skill.
The Roman military, a marvel of ancient warfare, was a blend of disciplined strategy and innovative tactics that secured the dominance of Rome across vast territories. A battle typically began with the exchange of missiles, notably javelins known as pila, which were designed to disrupt enemy formations and weaken their resolve. These initial volleys set the stage for the decisive infantry engagements that followed, where the true strength of the Roman legions was unleashed. Central to Roman military strategy was the concept of flexibility. The Roman legion was not a monolithic block but a dynamic formation, capable of rapid adaptation. Soldiers were trained to operate in maniples, smaller units that could maneuver independently, yet support each other seamlessly. This flexibility allowed the Romans to respond effectively to the fluidity of battle, countering enemy movements and exploiting weaknesses with precision. The manipular formation was a testament to Roman ingenuity. Arranged in a checkerboard pattern, maniples could advance or retreat as needed, creating a resilient yet penetrative force. The front lines engaged the enemy directly, absorbing the initial impact and gauging the strength of their opponents. If the enemy pressed too hard, the front lines could withdraw into the gaps of the second line, preserving the integrity of the formation and preventing envelopment. Roman infantry tactics were not just about formation, but also about the strategic use of terrain and the psychological impact on the enemy. Roman commanders, skilled in the art of war, chose battlegrounds that maximized their strengths and minimized their weaknesses. Hills, rivers, and fortifications were used to funnel enemy troops into kill zones, where Roman discipline and superior equipment could be brought to bear most effectively. The Romans excelled in creating a multi-layered defense that could absorb and then repel enemy attacks. The hastati, younger and less experienced soldiers, formed the first line of defense, engaging the enemy and bearing the brunt of the initial assault. Behind them stood the principes, veteran soldiers who could reinforce the front or exploit breaches in the enemy line. At the rear were the triarii, seasoned warriors who served as the last line of defense, and a reserve force capable of turning the tide of battle. In addition to these tactical elements, Roman military success relied heavily on rigorous training and discipline. Roman soldiers underwent intense drills that honed their skills and instilled a sense of unity and purpose. This relentless training ensured that every legionary knew his role and could perform under the most chaotic conditions. The result was an army that moved as a single entity, with each part supporting and enhancing the others. The Romans also employed the wedge formation, designed to break through enemy lines with a concentrated force. This spearhead formation concentrated the attacking power at a single point, driving deep into enemy ranks and creating disorder. The wedge formation was often used in combination with cavalry units, which would exploit the breaches created by the infantry. Psychological warfare played a crucial role in Roman tactics. The sight of the Roman legions, with their gleaming armor and perfectly synchronized movements, often instilled fear and hesitation in their enemies. The Romans understood the power of intimidation and used it to their advantage, weakening enemy morale before the first blow was struck. In the grand tapestry of the Roman military, the cavalry emerged as a force of elegance and might, a symbol of Rome's ability to adapt and innovate. From the earliest days of the Republic, the cavalry, or equites, played a crucial role. Initially drawn from the ranks of the wealthy aristocracy, these mounted warriors were the embodiment of Rome's martial prowess. As Rome's horizons expanded, so did the importance and sophistication of its cavalry, evolving from a support force into a key component of the Roman military machine. The evolution of the Roman cavalry was a testament to the empire's unyielding spirit and strategic genius. Initially, the cavalry served as a supporting force to the legions, engaging in reconnaissance, skirmishing, and flanking maneuvers. However, as Rome's enemies grew more formidable, so too did the role of the cavalry. It was the infusion of diverse and skilled auxiliary troops from conquered lands that revolutionized Rome's mounted warfare, bringing new techniques and unparalleled versatility to the battlefield. One of the most remarkable events in the history of Roman cavalry was their performance at the Battle of Magnesia in 190 BC. Here, the Roman cavalry, bolstered by allied contingents, played a pivotal role in defeating the formidable Seleucid forces. Their disciplined charges and deft maneuvers shattered the enemy's ranks, proving the strategic value of a well-coordinated cavalry force. This battle marked a turning point, cementing the cavalry's importance in the Roman military doctrine. The Roman cavalry's tactics were as varied as they were ingenious. The classic wedge formation allowed them to pierce through enemy lines with relentless precision, creating chaos and opening gaps for the legions to exploit. In contrast, the Cantabrian circle, a tactic borrowed from Iberian horsemen. Involved riding in continuous circles, launching volleys of javelins while evading enemy counterattacks. These tactics showcased the cavalry's blend of offensive might and agile maneuverability. Roman cavalry units were diverse, reflecting the vast expanse of the empire. The auxiliary cavalry included various specialized types such as the ala, a unit of non-citizen cavalrymen, and the cohors equitata, a mixed unit of infantry and cavalry. There were also the famed cataphracts, heavily armored horsemen, who brought an Eastern influence to Roman tactics. The ala served as the primary striking force, delivering powerful charges and engaging enemy cavalry. The cohors equitata provided flexibility, supporting infantry operations and performing reconnaissance. Cataphracts, with their imposing armor, were the shock troops, designed to break through enemy lines with sheer force. The military hierarchy of the Roman cavalry was meticulously organized, with each rank carrying specific responsibilities. At the top were the equites, elite horsemen often of noble birth, who commanded respect and led by example. Below them were the decuriones, who commanded a terma, a unit of roughly 30 cavalrymen. The decuriones were responsible for the discipline and training of their men, ensuring that each unit operated with precision and cohesion. Under their leadership were the common cavalrymen, whose duty was to execute the maneuvers and tactics that defined Roman cavalry warfare. The value of the cavalry was further underscored by the exclusive equestrian order, a prestigious class reserved for senators and wealthy citizens. Membership in this order was not merely a reflection of wealth, but a testament to the individual's commitment to Rome's military supremacy. The equites were expected to provide their own horses and equipment, a significant investment that underscored the value placed on their role within the Roman army. In a strategic move that reflected both practicality and shrewdness, Rome increasingly relied on allied and auxiliary cavalry, rather than citizen horsemen. This decision allowed the Roman state to conserve its citizenry for the legions, while benefiting from the specialized skills of allied horsemen who were often more adept in cavalry warfare. These allies included the fierce Numidian cavalry, the expert horse archers of Parthia, the swift Iberian riders, and the disciplined Gallic horsemen. This reliance on auxiliaries also fostered loyalty among Rome's allies, binding them closer to the empire through mutual military dependence. Yet, beyond their martial prowess, there was a poetic grace to the Roman cavalry. Their movements in battle were like a choreographed dance, a ballet of warhorses and steel. The sight of Roman cavalry thundering across the battlefield, banners fluttering in the wind, was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They were the harbingers of Rome's might, a living testament to the empire's relentless pursuit of victory. In the later years of the empire, the Roman cavalry would face new challenges as the nature of warfare evolved. The introduction of heavily armored cataphracts, inspired by Eastern traditions, demonstrated Rome's ability to adapt to new threats. These heavily armored cavalry units combined the mobility of horsemen with the resilience of infantry, a blend that symbolized the enduring innovation of Roman military strategy. Originating from Eastern traditions, the cataphracts were designed to deliver a crushing blow to enemy lines, their sheer weight and momentum breaking through the toughest of defenses. The sight of these armored giants thundering into battle was a spectacle of raw power and engineered might, a testament to Rome's ability to absorb and perfect the military innovations of other cultures. With the introduction of cataphracts, the Roman cavalry underwent a profound transformation. These heavily armored cavalrymen brought a new dimension to Roman warfare, combining the brute strength of traditional cavalry with the resilience of infantry. Their armor, inspired by the warriors of the Parthian and Sassanid empires, provided unmatched protection, allowing them to withstand the fiercest attacks. This evolution marked a shift in tactics, emphasizing the need for coordination between the cataphracts and the lighter, more mobile units, creating a versatile and formidable force capable of adapting to any battlefield scenario. In the dawn of Rome's expansion, amidst the tides of ambition and destiny, the Roman navy was born. Its genesis was humble, a mere whisper on the Mediterranean winds, as Rome sought to transcend its terrestrial confines. The early Romans were not seafarers, their mastery lay in the legions, not the waves. But necessity, that relentless teacher, drove them to the seas. The first fleet, a crude assembly of borrowed designs and captured vessels, set sail with uncertainty yet burning resolve. The Romans, ever the astute students of war, observed and adapted, learning the craft of shipbuilding and naval warfare from their adversaries, particularly the Carthaginians, whose maritime prowess they admired and envied. As the Republic matured into empire, so too did its navy, evolving from a fledgling force into a formidable maritime power. The pinnacle of its glory was witnessed during the Punic Wars, where the navy was instrumental in Rome's triumph over Carthage. The construction of the quinquereme, a warship of unparalleled strength and agility, marked a zenith in naval architecture. These ships, typically about 45 meters long and manned by 300 rowers, with their bronze-clad rams and decks bristling with marines, became the embodiment of Rome's naval might. The Roman fleet at its peak could number over 1,000 ships, an awe-inspiring testament to their maritime dominance. Yet, like all great powers, the Roman navy's fortunes ebbed with the tides of history, fading into obscurity as the empire waned and the dark shadows of barbarian invasions loomed. The Roman navy's arsenal was as diverse as the empire itself. The mighty quinqueremes, the backbone of the fleet, were designed for ramming and boarding actions, their formidable presence a symbol of Roman dominance. Triremes, lighter and faster, at around 35 meters long with 170 rowers, were the scouts and skirmishers, their speed and maneuverability unmatched. Liburnians, versatile and robust, at approximately 24 meters in length with 50 to 100 rowers, patrolled the rivers and coastlines, while the corvus, an ingenious boarding device, turned naval battles into floating fields of infantry combat. Each ship had its duty, from the heavy hitters of the open sea to the agile guardians of the coasts and rivers. The hierarchy of the Roman navy was meticulously structured, a mirror of the legion's disciplined order. At the helm were the admirals, the duces navals, appointed by the Senate and later by the emperors. These seasoned commanders orchestrated grand strategies, their decisions echoing across the waves. Beneath them were the navarchi, the fleet commanders who oversaw multiple ships, ensuring coordinated efforts in battle. The triarchs, captains who commanded individual ships, were responsible for the vessel's crew, maintenance, and combat readiness. The lower ranks included the centurions of the marines, leading boarding parties, and the rowers, often slaves or lower-class citizens, who provided the relentless power that propelled the ships. The marines, heavily armed soldiers, prepared for close combat, ready to board and conquer. Recruitment and construction were endeavors of monumental scale, reflecting Rome's insatiable ambition. Men were drawn from all corners of the empire, bound by duty and the promise of citizenship. Shipyards thrived in bustling ports, where master craftsmen and laborers toiled ceaselessly, hewing timber and forging iron. The forests of Italy and beyond yielded their trees, transformed into the sinew and bone of the Roman fleet. Each ship, a testament to Roman engineering and determination, was crafted with precision, its construction a symphony of human effort and ingenuity. Rome's maritime power was anchored in its vital ports, strategic hubs that pulsated with life and activity. Ostia, the gateway to the heart of the empire, and now part of modern-day Rome, was a bustling center of trade and naval operations. Misenum, near present-day Naples, the principal naval base, housed the Grand Fleet, its harbors echoing with the sounds of preparation and departure. Ravenna, positioned in the Adriatic and known today as Ravenna, served as a crucial outpost. Its docks and shipyards perpetually busy. Other important ports included Brundisium, modern Brindisi, and Piraeus near Athens. These ports, and others like them, were the lifeblood of Rome's naval dominance, their significance etched into the annals of history. The Roman navy was a mosaic of its diverse empire, utilizing both Roman citizens and allied forces. Allies from across the Mediterranean, including Greeks, Egyptians, and Phoenicians, brought their naval expertise and ships to Rome's service. This blend of cultures and skills enriched the navy, creating a formidable force that was as varied as it was powerful. The loyalty of these allies, coupled with the discipline of Roman sailors, forged an indomitable maritime presence. Transporting legions and their horses across vast expanses of water was a testament to Roman logistical genius. Specialized transport ships, known as naves honorarii, were built to carry heavy loads, including soldiers, horses, and siege equipment. These ships, sturdy and capacious, could embark entire legions, ensuring that Rome's military might was not confined to land alone. The invasion of Britain stands as a hallmark of this capability. The sight of Roman ships, laden with soldiers and their steeds, crossing the treacherous waters of the English Channel, was a spectacle of meticulous planning and unparalleled resolve. Among the many tales of valor and sacrifice, one memory stands resplendent: the Battle of Actium. On that fateful day, the waters of the Ionian Sea bore witness to a monumental clash. As Octavian's fleet, led by the brilliant Agrippa, faced the combined forces of Mark Antony and Cleopatra, the air was thick with tension, the horizon a canvas of impending destiny. As the ships engaged, the Roman navy's might and tactical brilliance shone through. Agrippa's innovative use of smaller, more maneuverable vessels outflanked the larger ships of Antony, turning the tide of battle. The victory at Actium not only sealed the fate of Antony and Cleopatra, but also heralded the dawn of the Roman Empire under Augustus, with the navy's valor forever immortalized in the annals of time. Thus, the saga of the Roman navy, from its humble beginnings to its glorious zenith and eventual decline, unfolds as a tale of resilience, innovation, and unyielding ambition. It was a force that not only guarded the empire's shores, but also projected its power across the known world. A maritime symphony of wood and iron, guided by the indomitable spirit of Rome.
Amidst the cacophony of clashing steel and the anguished cries of the battlefield, another battle raged, a relentless fight against infection and disease. In the heart of chaos, where blood-soaked earth bore witness to human savagery, the Roman army, renowned for its engineering marvels and disciplined legions, wielded a weapon of compassion and science, a surprisingly sophisticated medical corps. These military doctors, known as medici, were more than mere bandage changers. They were the silent sentinels of survival, trained in the crucible of war to mend the broken and heal the wounded. On the front lines, amidst the chaos, they set broken bones with skillful hands and performed rudimentary surgeries with unwavering resolve. Though they lacked the advanced tools and antibiotics of today, the Medici wielded a surprisingly effective arsenal, their knowledge a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. In their quest to ease suffering, Roman medicine leaned heavily on the gifts of nature. Soldiers carried poultices made from poppy seeds and mandrake root, offering a modicum of pain relief in the midst of agony. Wine, laced with opium, served as a rudimentary anesthetic, dulling the senses during brutal surgeries. The searing kiss of hot irons was employed to cauterize wounds, staunching the flow of blood and warding off the specter of infection. These remedies, humble yet effective, were the Medici's weapons in their battle against suffering. Yet, perhaps the most crucial aspect of Roman military medicine was not found in the suturing of wounds, but in the relentless pursuit of sanitation. The Romans, with their keen understanding of the link between hygiene and disease, waged war on the unseen enemies of dysentery and typhoid. Camps were meticulously laid out in grids with designated areas for latrines and waste disposal. Soldiers were mandated to bathe regularly, and the provision of fresh water was a priority. These practices, seemingly mundane, were vital shields against the invisible plagues that could decimate armies more effectively than any enemy blade. Victory in war wasn't just about glory and conquest for the Roman Empire. It was also a potent economic engine. Roman wars fueled the empire's prosperity through a complex interplay of plunder, taxes, land acquisition, and trade. Each triumph on the battlefield echoed in the coffers of Rome, transforming bloodshed into a golden era of wealth and infrastructure. Plunder, gold, silver, and other valuables seized from conquered cities and treasuries significantly enriched the Roman state. These spoils of war funded public works projects like temples, aqueducts, and roads, leaving a lasting physical legacy of Roman power. The glint of captured treasures adorned the streets of Rome, a constant reminder of the empire's might and the fortune of its conquests. Entire communities were uprooted, their wealth redistributed to fuel the insatiable Roman ambition. Taxes. Conquered territories were often burdened with new taxes. These taxes flowed into the Roman treasury, financing the vast military machine and providing funds for social programs like grain distribution for citizens. The tributary system ensured a steady stream of revenue, bolstering the empire's economy and sustaining its legions. Provinces groaned under the weight of Roman fiscal demands, yet their contributions underpinned the grandeur of Roman civilization, ensuring the bread and circuses that kept the populace content. Land. Expansion through conquest meant fertile lands could be seized and incorporated into the Roman agricultural system. These lands were often worked by enslaved people captured during wars, further boosting the Roman economy. The vast estates, or latifundia, sprawled across the landscape, producing the grain that fed the empire. These conquests turned the soil red with the blood of the defeated, yet they blossomed into the lush fields that nourished Rome. Trade. Roman victories often opened new trade routes, allowing for the flow of goods and the expansion of Roman commerce. This trade enriched Roman merchants and brought new sources of revenue to the empire. Exotic spices, silks, and precious stones flowed into Roman markets, a testament to the far-reaching influence of Roman power. Merchant fleets sailed across the Mediterranean, their holds brimming with the wealth of distant lands, all funneled back to the heart of the empire. However, the economic benefits of war came at a terrible human cost. Warfare wasn't a glorious spectacle for those caught in its path. The glittering prizes of victory were stained with the blood and tears of countless innocents, their lives shattered in the relentless march of Roman expansion. Devastation. Conquered cities were often sacked, with buildings destroyed and civilians massacred or enslaved. Farming lands were ravaged, leading to famine and economic hardship for the conquered people. The aftermath of a Roman conquest was a landscape of ruins and ashes where the cries of the vanquished echoed in the silent streets. Entire populations were uprooted, their homes turned to rubble, their future uncertain in the shadow of Roman domination. Casualties. Roman soldiers weren't immune to suffering either. Battles were brutal, and casualties on both sides were high. Many soldiers returned home wounded, physically and emotionally scarred by their experiences. The price of victory was paid in blood, with legions marching home in tattered ranks, their triumphs hollowed by the loss of comrades. The wounds of war lingered long after the battles had ceased, etched into the bodies and souls of those who fought. Social disruption. Long campaigns meant Roman men were away from their farms and families for extended periods. This could lead to social unrest and economic hardship within Roman society itself. The absence of men left fields untended and families struggling to survive, fraying the fabric of Roman society. The relentless demands of the military machine exacted a toll on the home front, where the echoes of distant battles were felt in the quiet struggles of everyday life.
Marcus, our legionary, bore the physical and emotional scars of war. He'd witnessed the horrors firsthand, the brutality of battle, the devastation inflicted on conquered peoples, and the loss of comrades. Yet, he also knew the unwavering camaraderie he'd shared with his fellow soldiers. A bond forged in the crucible of battle. These experiences would forever shape his life and his perspective on Roman society. The battlefield was a crucible that forged not just warriors, but men irrevocably changed by the searing flames of conflict. Thus, the tale of Roman warfare unfolds, a story of duality, where prosperity was built upon suffering, and progress was shadowed by pain. It is a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who lived, fought, and endured in the heart of an empire. The grandeur of Rome was a mosaic of triumphs and tragedies, each piece a testament to the complex tapestry of human ambition and resilience.
Iter longum et arduum fui, doloribus et doloribus vulnerem refertum, et adfectibus cicatricibus testatum. Ad suidus vinii nostri conspectus, olim solicii fons, nunc vitae peni relictae in signum memoriam tenuit. Atamen, momento temporis ilia vitae, vultu solicitudine ac solicitudine fixa. Vir domum mi esse conjuvi.
A legionary's life wasn't all about glory and conquest. Beneath the facade of stoicism and discipline lay a harsh reality. War left its mark, not just on the conquered, but on the conquerors as well. The brutality of battle. Combat was brutal and unforgiving. Soldiers witnessed horrific violence and death firsthand. The constant threat of injury or death hung heavy in the air, leaving many with emotional scars that lingered long after the battles ended. Long marches in harsh conditions. Legionaries spent a significant portion of their service on the move. They endured long, grueling marches in scorching heat or freezing cold, often carrying heavy packs and equipment. Food and water could be scarce, and the living conditions in military camps were far from comfortable. Disease and injury. With limited access to sanitation and proper medical care, diseases spread rapidly among soldiers. Even minor injuries could turn deadly due to infection. Many legionaries carried the physical scars of war, constant reminders of the battles they fought. Homesickness and longing. Soldiers were often away from home for years at a time. They missed their families, friends, and the comforts of civilian life. This longing for home could lead to low morale and even desertion in extreme cases. Psychological trauma. The constant exposure to violence, death, and the horrors of war took a toll on the mental well-being of legionaries. Post-traumatic stress, though not a term used in ancient Rome, was no doubt a reality for many soldiers. Nightmares, flashbacks, and emotional detachment were likely common experiences. Despite these hardships, the legionaries persevered. They found solace in their camaraderie, the sense of duty to their country, and the hope of returning home as heroes. Their stories offer a glimpse into the human cost of war. A cost borne not just by the conquered, but by the soldiers who fought and bled for Rome.
Finito servitio, domum habii. Frusta colligere conatus est, iterum rusticus esse. Sed somnia. Non relinquerent. Pax suffocans sensit, silentium obscurabat. Quadam igitur di, lanista viator. Gladiator lanista, in villam nostram pervenit. vidit viam commotam, manus duritias. Et obtulit mi electionem. Facultas gloriae, consilii, facultas pugnandi cum significatione iterum.
For some legionaries, the cheers of the Colosseum replaced the triumphant roars of battle. Their honed skills found a new outlet in the gladiatorial arena, a brutal dance with death that both horrified and enthralled Roman society. The clang of swords and the roar of the crowd became their new battlefield. A spectacle of blood and skill that captivated the masses. But for others, the end of service marked a long-awaited return to civilian life. They yearned for the familiar comfort of home, the touch of loved ones, and a life free from the constant threat of violence. They'd rebuild their lives, their calloused hands turning from wielding swords to working the land or shaping tools. The scars, both physical and emotional, would remain, a constant reminder of their time in the legions. Yet, some veterans carried the weight of war a little differently. The camaraderie, the purpose, the thrill of battle, these elements became an addiction they couldn't shake. They became soldiers of fortune, their loyalty not to a nation, but to the highest bidder. They roamed the world, offering their experience and skills to the highest bidder. Forever chasing the echoes of war in distant lands. The Roman legions, once a mighty force that carved an empire from stone and blood, faded into history. But their legacy lives on, not just in the echoes of gladiatorial combat or the principles of modern warfare, but in the hearts of the men who bore the weight of the pilum and gladius. Theirs is a story of unwavering loyalty, brutal hardship, and the enduring search for purpose in the shadow of war.
The fall of the Roman Empire marked the end of an era, yet the legacy of the legions lives on. Their military strategies, engineering feats, and sense of discipline continue to fascinate us. The story of the Roman legions is a testament to both the power and the fragility of empires. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the heart of the Roman legions. If you've enjoyed this exploration of history, please like and subscribe to stay updated with our latest episodes. In our next chapter, we will delve into the vibrant world of Roman trade and commerce, uncovering the networks that connected Rome to the farthest corners of the known world. Together, we will discover how commerce was the lifeblood that sustained an empire. Stay tuned.